Night had fallen on Outpost 9, one of the last mixed colonies where humans and aliens still tried to live together. The sky above the dome shimmered with electric storms, painting the streets in flashes of blue and white. Most citizens hurried home before the next energy surge. But one man was still walking through the rain. Marcus Hale, a human medic who had already worked 2 shifts without sleep. He moved quietly through the narrow service alleys behind the medical district, his boots splashing through puddles that glowed from neon signs above. Marcus hated this part of the colony. It smelled of metal dust and desperation. Refugees, mostly aliens who had nowhere else to go, often hid here. They came to trade scraps, sell stolen medicine, or beg for help. As Marcus passed a corner stall, he heard a small voice arguing with the vendor. The sound was soft but sharp, filled with fear and hope. "Please, just a little box, only 10 pills. I'll give you this." Curious, Marcus turned. The vendor was a large human man with a mechanical arm. Across from him stood a tiny figure wrapped in a torn blanket. She looked like a child, her small hands clutching something close to her chest. When she pulled the blanket down, Marcus saw her face. Pale silver skin with faint blue lines under the surface. Eyes glowing faintly like stars. An alien girl. She held up a stuffed toy, a handmade creature with mismatched eyes and torn stitches. "It's all I have," she whispered. "It's important. But my mother needs the medicine." The vendor laughed cruelly. "You think a broken toy can pay for human meds? Get lost, half-breed." Marcus froze. Something in the girl's voice twisted inside his chest. He had seen this before. Desperation so pure it erased pride. The vendor reached to shove her away, and the toy fell into a puddle. The girl cried out, kneeling quickly to grab it, her tiny fingers shaking. "Please," she said again. "She's in pain." Marcus stepped forward before he even realized it. "Wait," he said firmly. The vendor turned, surprised. "This your pet medic?" The man sneered. "She's trying to buy restricted painkillers." Marcus ignored him and looked at the girl. Rain dripped from her hair. She looked up, eyes wide and frightened. "You're hurting yourself standing here," Marcus said gently. "What's your name?" She hesitated. "Lyra? What's wrong with your mother, Lyra?" "She got hurt. In the human lab. I can't go there. They will take her away again." Her small voice trembled. "Please, sir." "She's dying." Marcus's jaw tightened. He knew the kind of lab she meant. Secret places where alien bodies were tested to find hybrid cures. He had heard rumors, but he had never seen proof. Until now. He turned to the vendor. "I'll take it," the man blinked. "You?" "You know what happens if they trace this? Helping aliens with human meds is against the colony code." Marcus took out his medical ID chip. "Charge it to me." The vendor laughed, thinking it was a joke. But Marcus didn't blink. Slowly, the man scanned his chip, tossing the medicine box into Marcus's hand. "Your funeral, Doc." When Marcus looked back, Lyra was still hugging her toy. Her lips trembled. "Why did you help me?" she asked quietly. Marcus sighed. "Because no one helped me when I needed it." He handed her the medicine. "Now go home before the patrols come." But she didn't move. Instead, she looked behind him, fear flooding her eyes. Marcus turned and saw 2 security drones hovering near the alley mouth, red lights blinking. "Code scan initiated," a metallic voice warned. "Unauthorized trade detected." The vendor cursed and ran. Lyra froze in panic. Marcus grabbed her hand. "Come on." They sprinted through the rain, down narrow streets between abandoned shacks. Drones followed, scanning beams slicing through the darkness. Marcus pulled Lyra into a broken drainage tunnel and waited. His heart pounded as the searchlights passed overhead. When the sound faded, he finally spoke. "Do they always track refugees this fast?" Lyra nodded. "They think my kind spreads disease. We're not allowed near medicine or hospitals." Marcus wiped rain from his face. "That's insane." She looked at him with tired eyes. "To them, I'm not a person. I'm just a failed experiment." Something inside Marcus cracked again. He had seen pain, but this was different. She wasn't lying. The scars on her arms were too precise, surgical cuts half-healed with cheap patches. "Where's your mother now?" he asked. "In the old quarter. South tunnels. She can't move anymore." Marcus thought for a moment. He should report this, but if he did, both would be arrested or worse. Yet if he did nothing, the mother would die tonight. He sighed. "All right, kid. We'll go together." Lyra's eyes widened. "You'd do that?" "I've already broken 1 law tonight," Marcus said, half smiling. "Might as well break 2." They moved through the tunnels until the rain above softened to a distant hum. Marcus led with his small flashlight, checking every turn. The deeper they went, the colder it became. The walls were covered in alien writing, symbols glowing faintly in the dark. Lyra touched one and whispered, "Home used to be beautiful." After almost an hour, they reached a metal door half buried in rubble. Lyra pushed it open with effort. Inside was a dim shelter made of old machinery and scraps. The air smelled of rust and disinfectant. On a makeshift bed lay a woman, tall, thin, and ghostly pale, with the same silver skin as Lyra. Her breathing was shallow, her hands twitching weakly. Marcus rushed to her side, checking her pulse. She was burning with fever. "She needs these right now," he said, opening the medicine box. He injected the serum, then adjusted a cracked oxygen mask near her face. Lyra knelt beside her mother, holding her hand. "It's okay, Mama, you'll be better soon." The woman opened her eyes halfway. When she saw Marcus, she tried to speak but could only whisper. "Human, why?" Marcus looked at her. "Because I'm a medic. It's my job," she smiled weakly. "No, because you still have a heart?" Her words hit deeper than he expected. For a moment, the only sound was the quiet rhythm of the oxygen mask. Then the shelter shook slightly. Distant thunder or maybe another patrol explosion above. Marcus looked up. He knew this couldn't last long. Once the system detected his ID chip used in a black market transaction, security would come for him. He turned to Lyra. "We'll need to move her soon. Is there any safe place?" Lyra hesitated, then reached into her blanket and pulled out the toy again. "This will help," she said softly. Marcus frowned. "A toy won't help us hide." "It's not a toy," she whispered. "It's my mother's work. She hid something inside." Before he could ask, the toy's left eye flickered. A tiny hologram appeared in the air, showing alien symbols and fragments of data streams. Marcus stared. It looked like medical code, something complex and encrypted. "What is this?" he asked. Lyra's mother spoke faintly. "Proof. The truth about what they did to us." Marcus realized what that meant. Inside this toy was evidence, real data from the human labs experimenting on aliens. If anyone saw it, the colony's leaders could be exposed. But that also meant anyone helping them would be hunted. He looked at Lyra, who was now clutching the toy to her chest like a shield. "Why show me this?" "Because you're the first one who didn't look away," she said simply. For a moment, Marcus had no words. He looked at the woman again. Her breathing had steadied, but barely. Time was running out. He took a deep breath. "All right. I'll help you both. But after tonight, there's no going back." Lyra nodded. "I understand." Outside, a drone's hum echoed faintly through the tunnels. Marcus extinguished his light, heart pounding in the dark. He knew they had only a few hours before sunrise, and before the search teams found them. As he sat there in the shadows, listening to the alien girl's quiet sobs and the steady beat of her mother's breathing, Marcus realized one thing: he hadn't just saved a stranger. He had stepped into something much bigger, a secret that could shake the balance between humans and aliens forever. And deep down, he already knew he would not turn back. The night inside the tunnels felt endless. Marcus sat near the sleeping alien woman, while Lyra quietly fixed the torn seams of her toy. The dim light from his portable lamp reflected off the metal walls. Outside, faint thunder rolled through the colony. Patrol drones hummed in the distance, searching for them. Marcus rubbed his eyes. He had treated humans, clones, even synthetic beings, but never someone like this. Her body was strange, half organic, half metal, with glowing blue veins under her silver skin. He couldn't stop thinking about what Lyra had said. The labs hurt her. He looked at the girl. "Lyra," he whispered. "Your mother. How long has she been like this?" Lyra looked up, clutching the toy close. "Since we escaped the lab," she said softly. "They used her to test painkillers for humans. But her body changed. The machines, they grew inside her." Marcus frowned. "Machines? You mean implants?" She nodded. "But they keep spreading." She said they're learning. Marcus leaned closer, scanning the wounds again. The metal wasn't implanted, it was fused. He saw living tissue growing around shining fragments, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. It wasn't just a wound. It was alive. He sat back, his stomach turning. "Who did this?" Lyra's voice broke. "Humans in white suits. They said she volunteered, but she didn't. They took me to make her obey. She escaped with help from one of them, before he died. Marcus stared at the cracked wall. He had worked under the same system that allowed this. The same medical council that ordered hybrid studies. He'd ignored it because it wasn't his department. Now seeing the results, guilt burned inside him. The alien mother stirred weakly. Her eyes opened, glowing faintly. "You're still here," she whispered. Marcus nodded. "I couldn't leave you like this. You are foolish, human." She smiled faintly. "They will come for you," he smiled back. "They always come for me, but not yet." She looked at him for a long moment, then coughed. Marcus quickly adjusted her position, holding a small oxygen tube near her mouth. "Rest, don't talk," but she shook her head. "The toy, it's more than data. It's a key. If they get it, they can destroy us all." Marcus froze. "A key to what?" "Her research." "My research," she coughed again, voice weakening. "I was trying to stop the spread of hybrid disease. I wanted to save humans and my kind both, but they twisted it. Made weapons instead." Marcus's throat felt dry. "You built this?" She nodded slowly. "Lyra doesn't know. She only knows they hurt me. But what they want is inside that core." Marcus turned to the toy lying beside Lyra. The small creature looked harmless, half-soaked fur, one broken ear. Yet it hid something powerful enough to start a war. He understood now why the vendor had refused to sell medicine. Anyone touching this girl could be marked a traitor. Suddenly the lamp flickered. A faint buzzing echoed from the tunnel entrance. Marcus moved silently to the doorway, peering out. In the distance he saw a flicker of red light. Drones again, scanning the tunnels one by one. He returned quickly. "We have to move," Lyra shook her head. "She can't walk." "Then I'll carry her." Marcus wrapped the woman in his coat, lifting her gently onto his back. She was lighter than he expected, almost fragile. Lyra followed close behind, clutching the toy and a small satchel. The air outside the shelter was cold and wet, and every sound echoed too loud. They moved through the tunnels like shadows, following a dim maintenance light line toward the southern end. Marcus's heart raced each time a drone's red beam swept past. He whispered, "Keep quiet, Lyra." She nodded, holding the toy to her chest. Her small face looked calm, but her glowing eyes shimmered with fear. After nearly an hour, they reached an old elevator shaft sealed with warning signs. Marcus used his code tool to pry it open. Inside was darkness and the faint smell of oil. "We'll rest here," he said, lowering the woman onto a soft pile of fabric. Lyra sat beside her mother and whispered words in an alien tongue. The woman smiled faintly. Marcus turned away, pretending not to listen, but the sound of their voices touched him. It was love, pure, desperate, and heavy with sadness. He checked his wrist device. His medical ID was already flagged red. They had traced the illegal purchase. Patrol squads would soon sweep this sector. He cursed under his breath. "We don't have time." Lyra looked up. "Can't we go outside the walls?" "There's a camp in the wastelands. People hide there." "Too far," Marcus said. "They'll catch us before we reach it." Lyra hesitated, then pointed at the toy. "There's another way. My mother's memory core can guide us. It remembers the old tunnels." Marcus frowned. "You mean it has maps?" "Yes, but we must connect it to your device." He hesitated, then handed her his tablet. She pressed the toy's glass eye against it. The screen blinked, then filled with glowing alien symbols. Marcus stared as tunnels and passages appeared in blue light, showing hidden paths under the city. "This is incredible," he whispered. Lyra smiled faintly. "She made it when I was little. She said toys should always lead you home." Marcus's chest tightened. He looked at the small alien girl sitting beside her dying mother, still trying to smile through fear. He realized he would protect them no matter what it cost. He helped the woman drink water and gave her another small dose of pain relief. But her body was failing faster than he could stabilize. The metallic growth on her spine pulsed stronger, glowing like a heartbeat. Lyra touched it gently, tears rolling down her cheeks. "It's hurting her again." Marcus examined the wound closely. "It's spreading through her nerves," he said. "If I try to remove it, she might die. But if I do nothing, it will reach her brain." He looked at Lyra, then at the toy still glowing faintly. "What's inside this, really? Could it stop it?" Lyra shook her head. "I don't know. Only she can open it." The woman opened her eyes weakly. "There is one way," she murmured. "The core holds my neural pattern. It can be used to heal or to kill. You must not let them have it, Marcus understood. It wasn't just data, it was her mind, her knowledge, maybe even her soul. Then a loud metallic thud echoed from above. Dust rained down. Marcus froze. The drones had found them. Move, he said. He grabbed the woman again and ran toward the map's next path, a narrow tunnel leading toward the old transit system. Lyra followed, clutching the toy. Behind them, red lights flashed through the darkness and metallic voices shouted warnings. They ran until their lungs burned. The tunnel opened into a large underground station, broken, filled with old trains and debris. Marcus laid the woman down on a bench, breathing hard. We'll hide here, he said. But Lyra pointed to a faint hum nearby. No, she whispered. Something's alive. Marcus turned his lamp toward the sound and froze. A robot sat in the corner, motionless but powered. It was a medical drone, an old model used decades ago. He rushed over and checked its systems. Still functional, he murmured. He reconnected the power lines and the drone's eyes glowed blue. Med A-17 ready for duty, it said in a static voice. Good, Marcus replied. Scan her. The drone hovered over the alien woman, scanning her from head to toe. Then it beeped. Foreign growth detected. Hybrid infection. Removal impossible. Recommend termination to prevent spread, Lyra screamed. No! And threw a rock at the drone. It stopped, confused. Marcus quickly deactivated the kill protocol. Override command, he snapped. Human priority access! The drone obeyed. Marcus sighed in relief. He looked at Lyra. It's okay. I won't let it hurt her. The girl's lip trembled. You're risking everything, Marcus smiled faintly. I know. He used the drone's tools to stabilize the woman's breathing. As he worked, he noticed the infected metal starting to glow brighter, reacting to the machine's energy. Suddenly, sparks flew and the core inside the toy started to hum. Lyra gasped. It's waking up. The toy's eyes flickered, projecting a beam of light across the station. The hologram of Lyra's mother appeared, speaking in an alien dialect. Marcus could understand only fragments: truth, weapon, cure. Then her real body convulsed. The metal on her spine spread like liquid silver across her skin. Marcus grabbed her hand, shouting, Stay with me! Lyra cried, Mama, please! The woman's eyes met Marcus's. Protect her, she whispered. And the truth. Her body went still. The glowing veins dimmed until only the toy's gentle light remained. For a long moment there was silence. Lyra buried her face against her mother's shoulder, sobbing. Marcus stood motionless, the weight of guilt crushing his chest. He had tried to save her and failed. Then he noticed the toy's light shifting again. New symbols appeared, along with a human word he could finally read. Transfer ready. Marcus stared at it. Somehow her consciousness, on her mind, was now inside that toy completely. He looked at Lyra, who was trembling and lost. Lyra, he said softly, your mother isn't gone. Not yet. Lyra lifted her head, tears glistening on her cheeks. What do you mean? Marcus held up the toy, its eyes glowing like twin stars. She left herself in here. And I think she wants us to finish what she started. Lyra blinked, hope flickering through her sorrow. Then we can save her? Maybe, Marcus said quietly. But first we have to survive. Outside, the sound of boots echoed in the tunnel. The patrols had arrived. Marcus took Lyra's hand, clutching the glowing toy in his other. Let's move, he whispered. As they ran into the darkness, the toy's light guided them, a faint beam cutting through the cold night. Marcus didn't know where it would lead, but he knew one thing. The tunnel air smelled of rust and smoke. Marcus ran with Lyra close behind, clutching the glowing toy that now pulsed like a living heart. The patrol soldiers were not far. Their voices echoed through the broken transit station. Sharp commands, heavy boots, and the whine of energy rifles charging. Lyra struggled to keep up. Her small legs trembled, and she looked back again and again. They're coming, she whispered. I know, Marcus said, breathing hard. Keep moving. Don't stop. They pushed through a half-collapsed passage, emerging into an open cavern where the colony's underground met the old alien ruins, structures that had existed long before humans arrived. The walls shimmered with strange markings, glowing softly as if they were alive. The toy in Marcus's hand glowed brighter, reacting to the symbols. Lyra gasped. She's guiding us, she said. Marcus nodded. Then we follow her. They moved toward the far end of the chamber where a large metallic door stood. The surface was covered in alien script. The toy floated slightly, light spilling from its eyes, scanning the door. A deep vibration filled the room. Suddenly, the wall opened like a blooming flower, revealing a hidden lab beyond, a place untouched for years. Inside, the air was cold and filled with soft blue light from ancient machines. Marcus stepped in first, weapon ready, but there was no danger. Only silence, and a faint humming sound. In the center stood a glowing cylinder filled with translucent liquid. Inside it floated a pulsating crystal, like a heart beating in slow motion. Lyra's eyes widened. "That's her life core," she whispered. She said she built it before they took her away. Marcus approached carefully. "What does it do?" She said it can heal or destroy. Lyra said quietly, "It depends on who uses it." Marcus looked around the lab. There were holographic screens showing fragments of data, images of the alien woman, her experiments, and medical records from the human labs. They revealed everything: the illegal hybrid tests, the deaths, the suffering. It was proof strong enough to end careers, maybe even the whole colony authority. He clenched his fists. "This is what she died for." Lyra stepped closer to the cylinder, tears glistening in her glowing eyes. She didn't want revenge. She wanted peace. She wanted to show that our kinds could heal each other. Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then that's what we'll do." But before he could act, the metallic doors behind them exploded open. Dust and fire filled the room. Armed soldiers stormed in, led by Captain Rourke, a cold-faced man in black armor. "Step away from the alien tech, Hale," Rourke ordered. "You're under arrest for treason." Marcus turned slowly, shielding Lyra behind him. "She's a child," he said. "She's innocent." Rourke's voice was calm. "She's a weapon. That thing she's carrying, those are classified military assets." "Hand them over." Lyra gripped Marcus's coat tighter. "Please don't," she whispered. Marcus raised his voice. "You lied to everyone, Rourke. These labs tortured people. You made her mother into an experiment." Rourke smirked. "Progress requires sacrifice. We're creating cures, not monsters." Marcus took a step back toward the glowing cylinder. "No, you're creating extinction." The captain raised his rifle. "Last warning." Marcus looked at Lyra. Her tiny face was pale with fear. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Then, turning back to Rourke, he said, "If you want the core, come take it." The captain didn't hesitate. "Fire!" Energy blasts ripped through the air. Marcus dived behind a console, pulling Lyra down with him. Sparks flew as machines shattered. The toy slipped from her hands, rolling across the floor toward the cylinder. Marcus cursed under his breath, crawling after it. The moment he touched the toy, a surge of energy shot through his arm. His vision blurred, and he heard her mother's voice inside his mind. "Marcus, protect her. Use the core," he gasped, clutching his head. The voice was calm but powerful, like it came from inside his blood. Lyra crawled beside him, eyes wide. "She's talking to you, isn't she?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, she wants me to connect with it." Lyra looked frightened. "If you do, you'll change. The core, it joins minds. It can't be undone." Marcus looked toward the soldiers closing in, guns raised. "Then I'll change." He ran toward the cylinder. The toy's eyes glowed brighter, projecting streams of light that wrapped around his hand. The crystal inside the tank pulsed faster, responding to his presence. Rourke shouted, "Stop him!" But it was too late. Marcus slammed his hand against the core. The light exploded outward. Energy flooded through him, white and blue, burning yet alive. He felt his body lift off the ground. His veins glowed like fire lines, his eyes filled with light. He could see everything, the data, the lab's memories, even Lyra's fear. He saw through time, through pain, through the lies humans had built. The voice returned, clearer now. "You carry both our worlds, Marcus. Choose what kind of man you are." He understood. The core wasn't meant to destroy, it was meant to connect. It bridged minds, merging human thought with alien empathy. Rourke fired again, but the energy beams dissolved before they reached him. Marcus raised his hand instinctively, and a shockwave burst from his body, knocking the soldiers back. Their weapons fell uselessly to the ground. Lyra stared in awe. "Marcus, what are you?" He smiled faintly, voice echoing with both human and alien tones. "Something new." He turned to Rourke, who was crawling backward in fear. "You could have chosen mercy," Marcus said quietly. "Instead, you chose pain." Rourke lifted a sidearm, but before he could shoot, the ground trembled. The alien walls began to glow brighter, reacting to Marcus's power. Streams of light wrapped around the lab. reaching toward the surface. The colony's systems were connecting to the core. Marcus realized what was happening. The core was uploading itself and all of its truth to the galactic network. Every lie, every experiment, every cruelty, all of it would be revealed to the universe. He could stop it, but he didn't. He whispered, "Let them see." The transmission began. In the upper colonies, screens flickered to life. People across the settlement saw the truth. Footage of alien prisoners, tortured bodies, and scientists recording their pain. Gasps filled the streets. The entire world was watching. Back in the lab, the energy started to fade. Marcus fell to his knees, exhausted. His body flickered between human and light, fading slowly. Lyra rushed to him. "Don't go," she cried. "Please." He smiled weakly. "I'm not going anywhere. I'm just changing." She shook her head, holding his hands. "You saved us." He looked into her glowing eyes. "No, Lyra, you saved me." His body dissolved into shimmering light, flowing into the toy and the crystal. The room fell silent. The soldiers fled, terrified. The light dimmed, leaving only the sound of the wind blowing through the cracks of the old ruins. Lyra knelt alone, clutching the glowing toy. "Marcus," she whispered. Then faintly his voice came from the toy. "I'm here." Tears filled her eyes, but she smiled. "You did the unthinkable," she said softly. "No," his voice answered gently. "I did what humans do best. I cared." Epilogue weeks later, the colony changed forever. The Galactic Council shut down the secret labs. Humans and aliens began rebuilding trust. Rumors spread of a ghost medic who had become part of an alien network, guiding refugees from the shadows. In the outer settlements, a small alien girl was often seen helping the sick with her glowing toy that spoke softly in a human voice. Together, they healed people, human and alien alike. And sometimes, under the neon lights of the rebuilt Outpost 9, the air shimmered faintly, as if the walls themselves whispered a single truth. Human compassion is not weakness. It is the cure you've been afraid to see.